Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episode 1007. So, last time we had a couple really notable moments with Yamato and Momonosuke, and it was a really cool episode, and things are just chugging along. The battles are continuing, and we'll just have to see what goes on next. Not much to say going into this one. It's just the excitement's still there. Kiku is still fighting, like, even with one of her arms taken off and being cauterized by Kinemon's flaming blade, which, like, fuck, that's gotta hurt. Like, ugh. But she's strong. Kiku is strong. She can continue going, and I love that about her. It's like she's a true samurai, 100%. She is a true warrior. She's phenomenal. She's just one of my favorite characters for good reason. So seeing her continue to fight, it's like, geez, like, you're just continuing to be badass, and I love it. But yeah, there's a lot of different plot threads going on right now. Some we haven't checked in on in a few episodes. Maybe we'll see them this time, maybe not. Honestly, who knows? There's just so much going on. As I've stated before, you're gonna have some episodes that you don't check in on certain characters. Like, the same has happened with a lot of arcs in the second half of this series. Dressrosa has quite a few points where there's characters you just won't check in on for a few episodes, or even longer. There's a good portion of Dressrosa where you don't see the likes of, like, Nami and Chopper and whatnot at all, because they're on the ship and all, and they are being chased by Big Mom and everything. So they're kind of out of commission for a good portion of Dressrosa. And there's just parts of the arc and other arcs where it focuses on certain things at a time. That's just how it has to go with so many characters, so many big things happening. Oda handles it well, so no harm in that. But yeah, not really much of anything else to say, so we're just gonna get into this, hope for the best with this episode, and hopefully we'll get another great one. Presumably Shinobu will start trusting Yamato now that he's saved Momonosuke, so that's a really good thing. But the fight is going to continue with Sasaki for sure. It's definitely not done yet, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited to see Sasaki in action, maybe, because really the only Toby Ropos we haven't seen in action yet are him and Who's Who, I believe. We've seen Diaz Drake in action a few times throughout the series now. We've seen Ulti and Page 1 in action, so we only have Sasaki, Black Maria, and Who's Who. I almost forgot Black Maria. But to be fair, she really hasn't been as, like, focused on. Sasaki and Who's Who have been shown more recently than her, I believe, so that's why they were on my mind. They haven't really been hugely focused on lately either. I mean, Ulti and Page 1 have. They've had a lot bigger focuses so far, but that could start to change. Especially since it looks like the rest of the Toby Ropo are also fighting in the new opening, so yeah. I'm excited to see what's going on, what's happening, and what we get with another episode. So let's do this. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, it's like every episode that has like a notable focus on Yamato and just like really has him like even if not fighting like notably long in the episode or anything or doing much of any like really high action, even just when he's speaking, it's like pretty much every time he talks, pretty much every time he like has a moment like this, it's just so amazing that it just continues to endear me to his character more and more every time. And I understand, I know Yamato is an extremely popular character, and like a lot of people I know want him to join the Straw Hats. I know that a lot of people are really just in love with him the same way they were with the likes of Vivi back then. And the same way a lot of people have even been with Carrot. And I get that. And I agree with it to a point. And it's like, again, every time he just has one of these episodes where he's like focused on to a good amount and where he has these like great defining moments, it's just like, Oda, you're putting so much effort into his character. You are like making him not only just exceptionally likable, but you're making him exceptionally badass, honorable, and just really fucking cool in a way that almost no other character really is. Like, he's putting so much effort into crafting Yamato as this exceptional character that I'm kind of like thinking like he's got to have plans to bring him into the Straw Hats. Like, how are you going to make a character this well crafted and not do that? And it almost kind of makes me worry that Carrot won't join as well if that's the case, because Carrot deserves to join too. She has just as much, actually she has much more like active connection with the crew at this point. And she has much more active chemistry with the crew. Honestly, she has more chemistry with the crew than Vivi did. And Vivi had an exceptional amount of chemistry with them. I would say Carrot has more, though. I would say she's actually much more fitting for the crew, because while Vivi can fight, Carrot is more of an actual fighter. Vivi was just a princess who could fight a little bit, and she was never even strong at it. Carrot, on the other hand, while not as strong as some of the members of the crew, is still very strong, especially in Sulong form. So it's like she would 100% fit on the crew. And while I love Yamato, and especially like more and more to the point where he's currently sitting at, honestly, after this episode, my number 2, only under Nico Robin, I would honestly say I don't think he should join the crew if it means Carrot doesn't. I think Carrot should join the crew as more of a priority than him. Now, if both of them join, I would be 100% happy with that. I would be ecstatic about that. But I think that Carrot should be priority because, again, at this moment, she has so much more chemistry with them. She already feels like a part of the crew. Honestly. It's just like she's had enough build-up to make it believable. And so many people do want her to join. I think that it would be a mistake to not have her join, especially if it's in lieu of having Yamato join. I think Carrot should have priority, but if it ended up being both of them, again, I would not be opposed to that. But yeah, Yamato in this was phenomenal, and I like that ending bit because it shows that he doesn't actually believe he's Odin or whatnot. Like that ending bit where he says also known as Yamato, it's like he's saying, I know I'm not Odin. I know I'm not actually your father, but I'm trying to carry on his will. I'm trying to carry on his spirit. I'm trying to be the next Odin. I'm trying to be the next person just like him. He inspired me. He brought me to tears at his execution. I want to be just like him. That's what Yamato is saying here. And I think that's honestly beautiful. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be like people who you look up to. There's nothing wrong with wanting to emulate them, especially if they're good, respectable people who genuinely helped and inspired others. It's like that's the right kind of person to look up to and try to emulate. Obviously, you should try to be yourself too. And that's why, again, it's good that he said, also known as Yamato. He's saying, I'm still me. I'm still Yamato. And I like that. I really do like that. And we can see here that he has won over Momonosuke and Shinobu. Especially when he talked about like hearing and being inspired by Shinobu's speech too. That one got to me because it's like I've been a staunch supporter of Shinobu. I've seen posts on social media of people mocking her size and like saying like how she looked in the past and how she looks current day is like one of the biggest downgrades in anime. And I get fucking pissed when I see that shit because not only is it fat phobic, not only is it just an absolutely disgusting thing to say about someone, but honestly, this character Shinobu is such a virtuous, wonderful, just morally grounded character that she is honestly one of the strongest characters in this arc. And this is an arc full of extremely strong written characters. Shinobu stands out amongst them, and that's saying something. She is absolutely beautiful. She is absolutely one of the backbones of this fight against Kaido. And she is absolutely a worthy retainer to the Kozuki bloodline. And anyone who mocks her or says that her change in weight or looks in general is a downgrade is a fucking piece of shit. And it's just like, I see this all the time, and it pisses me the fuck off. You have no idea. And yeah, part of it is personal, because yes, I'm a big person. I am large. I am not considered conventionally attractive. So yeah, part of it is personal. Because part of it, I kind of see myself in her. Especially with all the people shit-talking her. I've faced that my entire life. But it's also just because of who she is as a character. So it's just like, yeah, I will defend Shinobu, like, forever. She is easily one of the best characters in this arc. She is one of my favorites of this arc, of Wano. I absolutely adore her, and I will stand up for her against all these miserable shits just mocking her for her size and her looks. But moving on, this episode was named after Zoro and the Ice Oni problem. Zoro and the Ice Oni problem was really only the first half, and Zoro really wasn't even the focus of it. So it's another example of false advertising with the episode titles. But we did get to see more of the Ice Oni stuff happening, more so just the escalation of it. Like, nothing really big happened until Queen threw down the antidote to Apu, which I'll talk about in a moment here. But it was mostly just like, okay, yeah, shit's still fucked. It's getting more fucked. Chopper wants to fix things. And Boss Hio is convincing his general not to commit seppuku. Because and to hold out hope that things will be fixed. But then we get to the Apu part. Apu comes back into the picture again. He just kind of like goes in and out of the focus with this arc. When Queen gives him the antidote to the Ice Oni virus, not as a sense of trust or whatnot, but he does it because he wants to fuck with him. Because Queen is absolutely a piece of dog shit. He's just 100% fucking evil. And it's like, as I said in the reaction, it's kind of cartoonish with how far they take it, but in a way that also kind of works because it fits the series. One Piece has had very cartoonishly evil villains, to where it's like, oh yeah, like you could see people like this in the real world, but not to this degree, because obviously it's like there's no way to argue what they're doing is like absolute evil. Like there's no way to justify their side of things in this series. They're so absolutely unjustifiably evil that it's like, it's not even a case of like where it could be seen as real, because like realistic people like this at least try to hide it, or at least try to make excuses, and they hold back enough to where those excuses can be at least convincing to some people. But it's like, Jesus, my dude. He throws the vial to Apu to fuck with him and to have fun, basically. He's having fun, making it more of a game of tag, of keep away. Apu has the vial. He lets everyone know that Apu has the vial with the only cure. And so he's like, basically like, run, bitch. Run. And it's like, oh. And even Apu's like, what the fuck? Even Apu is just like horrified by this. And I said it in the reaction, but Apu is only with Kaido and everything as a way of survival. It's been basically brought up that in the New World, you basically have to align with an emperor in order to survive, unless you're the Straw Hats, because, you know, the Straw Hats. But even technically, you could kind of say that they're almost kind of aligned with Shanks, just not officially. So there's almost kind of that alignment there. I mean, Shanks would definitely like be completely okay with that. Luffy would probably not entirely want it though, because he sees, although he does admire Shanks a lot, he does also see him as a rival in a way. So yeah, there is that, but still, you know, Shanks would come to Luffy's aid still. But anyways, yeah, it's wild to see that even Apu is just like, fuck this. And he's running, and he doesn't want to, like, destroy or get rid of the antidote, because, like, what if he ends up needing it? So it's like, now Zoro and the others and all are going to be after him, and it's like, I kind of feel bad for Apu. It's like, he didn't want this shit. He's being used as a toy for Queen's sick games. That's not what he wants. But yeah, definitely the highlight of this episode was Yamato for sure. Which, yeah, again, second episode in a row where Yamato was a highlight, and again, second episode in a row where he's on my thumbnail. Because it's like I can't not. Again, he's been raised up to my second favorite character in the series through these episodes, and it's like with that focus that was on him, and with that just empowering, beautiful moment he had with Shinobu and Momonosuke there, it's like, of course, you have to. Honestly, if the episode titles actually fit with the episodes half the time, he would have been in the episode title. It would have been about him, or even like specifically him and Shinobu. Like the episode title would be more fitting to go along with him, because that's what the episode was honestly more highlighting. So it's like it's wild to me that it was about Zoro. It's like, what? Zoro was barely a part of this episode. But it's such a minor complaint. It's such a nitpick that I don't actually consider it an issue with the show or anything. It's just silly to me, honestly. But I very much obviously enjoyed this episode. We got a tiny bit of the Akazaya 9 and Kaido in this one too. Just Kaido kind of beating the Sulong form out of Cat Viper and Dogstorm, really. That's about it that we saw for them. And yeah, it's like there's just, again, some things we just haven't seen for a while. As I said in like the pre-thoughts and all, some things that just haven't been focused on for a bit because there's just so much to focus on. It's hard to cover everything at once. But I am excited to see where this goes. Again, another great episode. Great stuff with Yamato continuing to happen. Can't wait to see what more they do. And honestly, this might be the wildest statement I'm going to make here. But if Oda continues to write Yamato this fucking well, by the end of the arc, I could honestly see Yamato like surpassing Robin as my favorite character. And that's exceptionally wild for me to say, because Robin has been my favorite character since Enies Lobby. Most of the series, she has been my favorite character. And I still adore her character, and she's been fantastic in this arc too. So it's like, that's exceptionally insane for me to even consider saying, but it's true. I'm loving Yamato that much to where it's getting close. And where I do genuinely believe that if Oda keeps this up, Yamato could surpass Robin as my favorite character. I think it's genuinely possible. And honestly, I would be completely fine with that. I'm always for new characters coming in and being that amazing to where I love them that much. I'm 100% all good with that. It's just, it's so weird to think about because, again, Robin's been my favorite for most of the series. So yeah, it's crazy, but yeah. Either way, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode 1007 of One Piece? And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.